What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Jericho Report weekly news briefing, although it's becoming more of a monthly news briefing. I'm going to try to get back into doing these. Today is Tuesday, the 26th of January, 2016. Haven't done one of these in over a month, but I've got all kinds of stuff stowed up. Some of this stuff you might know about, some of it you might not know about. I'm going to do it just to clear out my bookmarks. As always, first link below, we take it to the Blogspot post. That's where you can find all this madness. First and foremost, did you see the premiere of The X-Files on Sunday night? If you did not, I will put a link to the episode on Fox website. You really want to go through that 40-minute TV show where they're talking about the Patriot Act and the National Defense Authorization Act. The alien stuff, I mean, that's debatable. One thing that is not debatable is the enslavement of Americans. I'll put a link below that if you don't want to watch the whole thing. SGTreport.com did a 6-minute video just pulling out the key parts. Shout out to him. Check his video out. Other news going on. We have a lot of mysterious... Are people being taken underground? You had a couple actors die. You got mayor of Alaska's capital city found dead in his home. That December 1. Some of this is a little old, but I've been stowing these links up for a few weeks, but all relevant in my opinion. Mexico mayor assassinated one day after taking office, January 2. We also got, are you ready for this? Suspended Secret Service officer shot and killed in Washington, D.C. Another Secret Service officer caught up, this time dead. I guess he was suspended for something. I don't know. CTV News, meanwhile, check this out. Vanishing Chinese executives, a troublesome mystery for Hong Kong investors. So you got all kinds of people going missing. You got mayors, Secret Service agents. You tell me. People being taken underground for the big event about to come. I don't know. Did you see this? Ben Carson. Was this a message to Ben Carson or what? Because Ben Carson called out the mainstream media over Obama's secret past. Look what happened. January 20, 2016, Yahoo News. Ben Carson team in fatal crash, campaigning suspended. Put a link to that. I think one or two people died in that. Was that a warning? You tell me. The New York Times puts this out. Sarah Palin endorses Donald Trump. Okay, then. I guess we'll see Russia from your backyard. Yahoo News. You got this whole thing going on up in Flint, Michigan with this water. This is an emergency beyond emergencies. Flint's frustrations, fears, evident at emergency water stations. I'm sure you guys are aware of that. I'll give you this link from Yahoo News. What a cluster, just mess that is going to... One more in the general bin. Going from Flint to California. Unstoppable. California gas leak now being called the worst catastrophe since the BP oil spill. Here we go again. Over to financial news. How the Dow Jones did last week. Does anybody really care? I don't know, but it surged 210 points to close... it rose 105 points on the week to close over 16,000. Futures aren't looking good this Tuesday morning. CNBC puts this out. A recession worse than 2008 is coming. Really? Tell me your thoughts. Meanwhile, French president declares economic emergency. That January 18 from Business Society, an economic emergency. Must bring in the new world order. Zero Hedge says Canadians panic as food prices soar on collapsing currency. My friends in Canada, any comment on that? We got world faces wave of epic defaults. Fears central bank veteran. Put a link to this from MSN Money. It's all around you. This was conspiracy theory years ago. Oil could crash to $10 a barrel, warn investment bank bears. Have you been watching the price of oil? Meanwhile, layoffs going on. GoPro cuts jobs and warns its sales are a disaster. GoPro, you need to bring back the daily giveaway. I think that would boost things for you. Meanwhile, Walmart to close 269 stores, 2 in the Houston area. 10,000 U.S. workers affected January 15. A couple more in the financial bin. Affordable Care Act hasn't made healthcare affordable study finds. No way. That from the Financial Times. Meanwhile, RT. Obama vetoes legislation repealing Obamacare and defunding Planned Parenthood. Is that a shocker to anyone? Couple more. We got CBO says U.S. deficit will rise $544 billion in 2016. Unlimited debt ceiling, baby. Charge it up. And we got one more. Obama could have ended homelessness in D.C. for a whole year with tax money he used on vacations. Over to New World Order and Police State News. Video released of deadly Chicago police shooting. This came out January 14. This is from a shooting that happened back in 2013. Did it really take them 3 years to put this out? Didn't we just have one of these where a judge ordered to release a tape and then somebody got fired and all this... Man, damage control going on in Chicago. Oh, the corruption. Meanwhile, Chicago cop fatally shoots college student and mother of 5 by accident. That from the New York Post. Tell me what you think about that. Video appears to show sheriff's deputies fatally shoot man in Linwood. I believe this is out in California. Check that video out. We got newly released police dashcam video shows arrest of woman who died after being forced from Florida hospital. Heartbreaking. You got to check out the video. She said that she needed help. She said she couldn't breathe. Nobody believed her. Now she's dead. Speaking of people being dead, Tamir Rice shooting. No charges for officers in that one. I believe that was the child with the fake gun at the playground, was it not? Meanwhile, grand jury decides against indictments in the Sandra Bland death. And, here in Missouri, you got Governor Nixon wants license law changed. This man was once against the Real ID Act. Now he is for it. Let me just go into this a little bit. Jefferson City, Missouri, Governor Jay Nixon says state law needs to change so that Missouri driver's license come into line with federal requirements. The federal government has said driver's licenses in Missouri and several other states will be unacceptable for entry into federal buildings and military bases. First, it was just the airports. Right now, this is they bring this stuff in, in little pieces. And you want to know what it's all adding up to, in my opinion? Look at this from the Telegraph. Man uses microchip implanted in hand to pass through airport security. I am not making this up. That's what it's going to be. We got, let's see, hospital ordered to double plasma. I got an update on what's going on out in Oregon about the FBI ordering blood and plasma and all this. What's going to go on with that? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to watch. Germans must ban alcohol. In the Muslim news, we got Germans must ban alcohol if they want to prevent further sex attacks to help North Africans immigrate, says Muslim group. Now, wait a minute. Germans must ban alcohol to have Muslim men stop raping their women? I don't know. Over to World War III news. We got Iranian storm and set ablaze Saudi embassy. This was weeks ago, but just FYI, because the next one, World War III, ? Iran furious, threatens to destroy Saudi in harsh revenge over executions. Put a link to that. We got Pakistan threatens to wipe Iran off the map if Saudi is harmed. A lot of big talk going on in the World War III world. Fox News, Iranian rocket passes within 1,500 yards of U.S. aircraft carrier. What? That whole thing where they're taking they took our Navy guys. I don't believe a word of that. That whole story is suspect. I'm not going to get into it, though. We got John Kerry. Here's an example of how the United States funds terrorism. Just one example. John Kerry says some sanctions relief money for Iran will go to terrorism. CNN Politics. I am not making this up. The Washington Post reports, sit the hell down and shut up. Montel Williams blasts critics of the Iran deal. Montel Williams, what is it with your opinion lately? Why should you have an opinion about any of this? You sit down and shut the hell up. World War III news, inside China, nuclear submarine capable of widespread attack on the U.S. This is an older article, but I just want to throw that in there with these next ones here. We got Putin says he hopes nuclear warheads will never be needed against Durka or anyone else. That December 9 from The Independent. Meanwhile, North Korea threatens to wipe out the entire whole of America after hydrogen bomb launch. Really. One more in the World War III bin, and alert, and listen up. Mitch McConnell ready to give President unlimited war powers. You heard that right, along with this new martial law use of force deal. That is already being covered by several YouTubers. Those videos are coming up in the shoutouts. Anyway, over to Earth changes in 2012 news now. Looks like we had a 6.1 quake out of Morocco. We had a 7.1 out of Alaska, 124, 6.6, 121 in Mexico. Put a link to the USGS, big quakes on the left, small quakes on the right. Mini tsunami along the Washington coast. What? Caught on camera. I'll put a link to local media. Check that out. Mini tsunami indeed. East Coast. Going from the west to the east. We got this big blizzard on the East Coast. Watching images come in. Apparently in New York there's a state of martial law and all this has been lifted and all that. I don't know. The normal. I'll put a link to that and my thoughts to everybody who's involved in that big blizzard going on. That's craziness. We got this. All happens after this. RT. Historic accord on climate change. Activists in Paris say deal is weak. I don't know. Your thoughts on the whole climate. Pay your carbon tax. Climate gate. All that. Everybody remember all that? Okay. Yahoo News puts this out. An unspoken option. Now look at this. An unspoken option if climate talks fail. Geoengineering. What on earth is do you mean to tell me we look up at the skies and see the lines in the sky and all of us have been screaming for years that, hey, something's not right? You now have a mainstream article talking about geoengineering. In fact, one after that, activist post says Saudi princess speaks out against chemtrails and geoengineering. You tell me. All the people that was calling us chemtards. Anything to say about those? Daily Mail, one more. Special attention. Aircraft contrails could be unintentionally changing the atmosphere and exposing us to more solar radiation, researchers warn. Now, wait a minute. Let me read that again. Aircraft contrails could be unintentionally changing the atmosphere and exposing us to more solar radiation, researchers warn. Seems like a lot of us were warning about stuff like this years ago, were we not? Put a link to it. I got a few more. Monster eruptions, panic as 2 volcanoes explode, causing mass evacuation, excuse me. It's early in the morning. I'll put a link to that for, I don't know where, somewhere in the world that's going on. Meanwhile, declassified U.S. government report on Fukushima says 100% of total spent fuel was released to the atmosphere from Unit 4. So we don't have to worry about climate change and chemtrails. This is what we have to worry about. 100% of total spent fuel was released into the atmosphere from Unit 4. Radiation going around the world, poisoning the oceans. Look at all the die-offs in the oceans we've had since all that. One more at the bottom of the 2012 interchange has been scientists find solid evidence for Planet X. What? I'll put a link to it. I'm not making this up. Over to strange and bizarre news, we got Florida man and Darth Vader mask robs convenience store, use the Force. That from HuffPost. Meanwhile, look at this suspected burglar killed by alligator while fleeing deputies down in Florida. You know, me and my cousin, we drove down Interstate 1 down there through the Keys, and there are signs, beware of alligators. Put a link to that. You know, not today, Sonny. We got Daily News puts 8th graders allegedly stab woman to death at car wash, prop her body up for a joyride. This, what in the hell? Metro 68.3 puts this out. Driver convinced he could time travel, smashes car into 3 offices. 1.21 gigawatts. Put a link to that. You forgot to hook up the doll. We got man cuts wife's head off as he finds DNA proves 6 kids are not his. Wow. Meanwhile, up in New York, maybe you just need to relieve some of that sexual tension. Come again? ? Sex firm creates masturbation booth for overworked NYC men. Masturbation booth. This is where we are as society. DailyMail.com. Transgender airline passenger humiliated after being forced to remove prosthetic penis during airport security check. Well, we did have the penis bomber, so humiliated or not, it could be a national security risk. One from the Independent, transgender father leaves family in Toronto to start new life as 6-year-old girl. I don't know. I'll put a link to it. Meanwhile, new startup aims to transfer people's consciousness into artificial bodies so they can live forever. Go watch the movie Transcendence. Yeah, real life text bot. And one more from the Mirror. This is just an ironical story. Durka fighter blows himself up by accident while firing rocket-propelled grenade. For all other news, please check my favorite videos. I have been favoriting tons of fresh content. Pull it up, scan over the title, see if there's anything you don't know about over there. Thank you to everybody who puts out videos, keeping people informed. I got some shout-outs this week. Shout out to JSnip4, double webbot hit. The webbot called the flooding situation that we had in the Midwest and the gas leak on the West Coast. Check out his video for that. Shout out to him. Shout out to Lisa Haven, U.S. collapse underway, government preps civil force, crash worse than 1929-2008 combined. She also goes into that new martial law bill. And if you want detailed explanation of that, shout out to Are You Ready For It? New AUMF 2016 explained in detail. In 28 minutes, she goes through the whole thing, tells you what it's all about. Make up your own damn mind as to what you think is going on in this world. Please rate this report. Please pass it around. Make people aware of current events. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, live show alerts, breaking news alerts, new upload alerts. Those links are always at the bottom. I'm tweeting out and sending out a lot more stuff on Facebook these days because I'm not making as many videos. Definitely follow me over there if you want those breaking news updates. That's all I got, guys. Another week of madness, or another month of madness, since it's been well over a month since I've done one of these. I'll try to get back to doing them regularly. I say that now and then things might come up, but until the next one, you guys take care, stay safe, remain vigilant, always. Crazy times. I will see you on the next one.